What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down Hunter Renfro and his route running ability. Guys, I think he's one of the more craftier route runners in the league. We're going to be looking at some of his Senior Bowl film and then some of his film from his time at Clemson, okay? So let's get started with this breakdown. And guys, if you want to send in your route running to me, you want me to break down your film, whether it's your highlights or just you running routes, getting some work in, check out that link in the description, guys. Get access to a private email address where you could submit your film and I'll break it down. Hope to get you guys signed up soon. Let's get started. So this linebacker right here is going to be coming and playing man coverage, right? But he's going to be inside leverage. So Renfro is going to be wanting to run this out route, right? So he's going to want to close this gap, freeze him, then leave him and run this out route, okay? So let's watch this thing full speed. So he comes off, attacks him, jab to the inside, peek back, break off on this out. That's a great job here, getting enough separation. This right here especially when we get this DB off balance, right? We get this DB sitting and he's playing fade. He's expecting the seam over the top. I snap it off quick. I snap my eyes around. That's a great job. That's great technique. That's a great spot to be in. So when he comes off the line here, and he's going to be giving him this little chatter, right? So when he gives him this jab, what does that do? That leaves this DB to the inside. But we're not trying to break his ankles here. We're going to be bursting up to my depth. I'm going to make sure I'm giving my eyes back to the quarterback, right? And we got to make sure that we get to the correct depth on this route because we got another down and distance. So you see how he's here, right? He freezes this guy. He attacks that leverage, jab to the inside, gets his feet to stop. Now he's peeking up and he's overcommitted, right? His hips are coming upfield. Now when Renfro peeks back with his eyes, all that's doing is selling a seam, right? He's clearly faster than number 3 right here. So we're always going to be a vertical threat to him, especially when we're a smaller, quicker guy. I'm always a vertical threat. And honestly, when you're a receiver anyways, if you play receiver, you're a vertical threat. The DB, linebacker, whoever it is, doesn't want to get beat downfield, doesn't want to get beat over the top. That's their worst nightmare, especially in man coverage, right? This guy's trying to wall him completely to the sideline because he doesn't want to get beat over the top. So if I peek back with my eyes here, even if it's just for a couple steps, he does it for like 3 steps. Look how that DB plays it, or this linebacker, excuse me. He's committing his hips full upfield, right? He's fully committing his hips upfield. That's what's going to get us separation because he's sitting on the seam. I just break it off in 2 steps, and now you see the separation, right? He hesitates here, drops his hands. He's not running out of it. Ball's out on time. I snap my eyes back around. Now, this was more let's say his split was more so inside, right? And we're breaking this thing off. I really want to make sure I pump my arms and I accelerate out of this break. Let's watch it full speed one more time. So he's coming off here, jab, burst upfield, peek back, in and out of this break, get that head around for that ball, okay? So he's going to be running a whip route right here. This comes up quick, but it's going to be easier to see when we break it down. So he's going to be working this release where he closes the gap, burst to the slant, snap this thing off and run a whip route, okay? So he closes the gap with him, bursts inside, drop those hips, and he's in and out of this break. That's a great route here. So main thing about this is, right, so he's off. He's in this catch technique, right? So I got to make sure that I'm closing the gap with him, trying to get him on his heels and try to get a reaction out of him when I burst to this slant route, okay? So that's the whole entire goal of this. So you see how he comes off here. He's just giving this little kind of skip, little bit of a hesitation move, right? But why wouldn't he just run this slant right now? Because that DB's going to be on this back hip and he'll be able to play this thing. I want to close this gap, break this thing off, and make sure that I get a good inside release, right? And try to get him to come over the top because he's overcommitted on this thing, and I got him on his heels with this release, which is exactly what happened. So he comes off, gets him on those heels, breaks to the inside fast. And when we break to this inside, I gotta be as fast as possible. I gotta burst up here, right? We're changing up this tempo off the line of scrimmage, trying to sell like I'm just running a quick slant on the goal line, right? So now when I commit, again, you see how he commits his shoulders? He could peek back to the ball here if he wanted to, right? But you commit your shoulders and you do that fast, that's gonna force a reaction off this DB. There comes a point where he has to stop shuffling with you and he has to eventually turn and run with you, right? So if I could get to that point where I could get him to turn and run, and you see he's playing that ball, he's trying to undercut or come over the top on this route and play the ball, and then I drop my hips. See how he's here, burst up, 1, 2. And he's in and out of this thing. Now, how I'm able to change direction by going full speed is my hips got to be violent. So I got to be able to run full speed. I drop my hips violently, and that's what shoots me back out. And you see that plant leg here, that's what pushes you out. That's a very technical thing, especially on a whip route. When I want to drop my hips, I got to make sure I'm 1, 2, and that second step, in this case his left leg, is pushing him back out. Now, See how much space he has from the sideline, right? And if this isn't a one-on-one situation, let's say this is a real game time situation, right? I got to put my arms and I got to continue to get space here, continue to run so this DB can throw me open. Great route here by Renfro. Let's watch it full speed one more time, okay? So again, closing the gap, change up the tempo, try to get this DB on his heels, attack the midline of his body, burst upfield fast, right? Commit your shoulders, commit your eyes if we need to, then drop this thing off in 2 steps. Violent hips is what changes direction for you when you're going full speed and pushing up, driving off that outside leg and pump those arms. Coming off here, burst up to the inside, 1-2. In and out of this thing, pump those arms. Great job by Renfro here. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about this stop route here. We're going to talk about what Renfro could have done better, how just selling vertical is going to get you space from a DB, and just overall what you guys can do to improve on this route so you don't make the same mistake, okay? So he's coming off, running this stop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's in and out of this thing in 6 steps, but you see, my bad, you see the separation he's able to get from this DB, right? So off the line of scrimmage, gives a little hesitation jab to the inside, right? All I want to do is I want to be able to push vertical, and I want to sell like I'm running vertical to the outside right now. So I don't need to break this guy's ankles. He's giving me this little catch technique, so all I know is maybe freeze him to the inside, right? Freeze him, get him open up, and now we're turning and running. But you see where he's at off the line of scrimmage. His head's downfield. Look at that pad level. He's at this like almost 45-degree angle. That shows that he's just trying to push up vertical right now. When we're fast, guys, off the line, in my stem, I don't give any indicator by slowing down, picking my chest up, whatever it might be. That DB is 100% of the time thinking fade. Everything's a fade until it's not, right? So he's coming out here full speed. He's got that head down. He's pumping his arms. That's what's going to get a reaction out of this DB. Not this crap where everybody loves to pick their chest up and they chop their steps, or they start to slow their legs down. I want to be full speed, and you let your hips, when your hips drop, that's what slows you down, right? Nothing else slows you down but your hips, and you're going forward. You're not dropping and picking your chest up. You're going forward. So you see how he's running full speed here. Now where's he going to snap down with? He's going to be snapping with his inside leg, snapping here, right? And you see how he goes forward. Now, the key about this is being able to go full speed and dropping your hips, right? We already know that. But eliminating steps is what I think he could have done a bit better job of. But you're going to see how much this DB flew by, even with Renfro taking about 5-6 steps here, okay? So he snaps down on the inside leg. On a stop route, I'm okay with that because you could just go left, right, and then you're out of this thing. I normally like, if let's say it's a curl route, I would normally like the outside leg. Like I'm snapping down with the right leg, pivot off the second, drive off the third, maybe get a 4 or 5 extra steps in there if I'm maybe not being as powerful with my feet as I can be. But right now, this, where he's at right here, even with the extra steps, you see how much separation he gets. So that's his first step. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now look at the space that he's got, though, right? You see the space that he has on this route, even with 6 steps. Now imagine if he gets out of it in 3, even 4, even 5, right? But I would mostly like 3 to 4, or 2 to 4 at least. If you get out of it 2 downfield this far, it's hard to do 2. That's kind of an unrealistic number. But 3 steps, man, that would get him even more space, right? Imagine if he stopped right on a dime right here. This DB would be off. He'd have 5 yards of separation, right? So how do I fix that? So when I snap down here, I think he could get a little bit lower with his hips rather than kind of bending at the waist here. I think he could really drop that butt but also bring that chin to my knee, and I'm going forward. And so that's his first step, and then that second step could pivot him, and then that third step could be here, and that fourth step, you see how he's not driving off of it. Because anytime we go inside leg, it's going to be an even number. It's either going to be 2 or 4. So if we're going inside leg and you want it to be 4 steps, this fourth step right here has to be pushing you back to the ball. Right? I can't be soft with my feet. I can't be choppy with my feet here. And you see how he's leaning back. When you lean back with your chest, that's going to cause extra steps. When you go forward, right, you see how he's here. Snap down, 2, 3, and that fourth step has got to drive him. But you see how it's choppy, and so he ends up going 5, 6, and we don't have as much separation as we could. We should be here. We should be on this 30-yard line while this DB's here on the 30 or the 25, right? That's where we should be. But because we took those extra steps, it gives him a little bit more time to react. Now, if this DB's fast out of this break, let's say he saw this was coming and I didn't sell fade, it's easy money. That's an easy break for him. But when I sell vertical and I snap it down and use my hips to stop me, these extra steps, yes, I would like to get rid of them. But you see the separation he got, right? Now, imagine if I could eliminate steps and then get back to the ball. That's going to be a whole lot of separation for you, okay? So that's one of the keys. Let's watch this route full speed one more time, then we'll break it down. So coming out, selling vertical. Hips drop you. Just try to eliminate those steps, but let those hips drop you anytime you run a stop, curl, come back, dig, whatever it might be. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to you, and I'll see you guys next time.